question, or next part. So moving on down, what if there are negatives? So this is 213. This is where we started talking about adding and subtracting and positive and negative variables. So here is our expression mat. This is when we first got introduced to the expression mat, and it's this whole thing. We see the addition side is the side on the top with the plus sign, and the subtraction side is the minus sign. And then, so we have, that's one way to make positives and negatives is by, like, if you start with 0 and you subtract a positive, you're going to have a negative number. You have positive tiles, and then you also have negative tiles because you have positive numbers and negative numbers. In your book, they're going to be filled in, or just whatever color they are if you're using the like E-tool. But if you're not using the E-tool, they're if they're not filled in, they're negative, and if you're using the E-tool, negative ones are red. So I don't want you guys to forget that stuff. This is not a lot of information. I know it looks like this is like a great big long set of notes, but like I'm writing so big here that it's like this is a small concept on a page. So an empty board equals 0. If I put 3 on the top, that's 3 plus positive, or 0 plus positive 3. 1 and 1 on the bottom, that's 0 minus positive x, and then minus positive 1 and minus positive x. A negative on the top, that's 0 plus negative x, and a negative on the bottom, that's 0 minus negative x. And anything else that got added on after that would be plus or minus the new things. So, oops, not sure what's going on with that. So I feel like people seem pretty comfortable with those, but if you're not, let me know. Or if these things feel weird, like I want to know about it, but it seems like people are getting that more or less. Does anybody have any questions about these weird expression mats? No questions. Okay. All right. So negatives, so let's talk about negatives with variables, right? They work the exact same, and this is an important thing to understand as we move forward. This is not something that was really in 213 explicitly, but I'm just letting you guys know this. Like we went over, and I talked to you guys about how to look at these, and we went over these a little bit. This is this is the up house stuff, right? Adding a weight is the same as subtracting a balloon, and adding a balloon is the same as subtracting a stick, right? Or a weight from the house. So anyway, but this is just showing you that these numbers work the same. Like you guys all know how to do 2 plus 4. 2 circles plus 4 circles equals 6 circles. 2 tiles plus 4 tiles equals 6 tiles. That's how x's work too. 2x's plus 4x's equals 6x's. I see it right here. There's 2x's plus 4x's. The total amount is 6x's. So the x's work the same. It's just that there's an x on them. And so you can't, I couldn't do 2x plus 4 because they're not the same sign. But if I have the same sign, then you add them just like regular numbers. 7 minus 4, here's 7 minus 4, here's 7. Here's 4, minus 4. That equals 3. I'm going to take you guys back to 0 pairs. This is going to be something that I write down on here for you guys. We talked about 0 pairs earlier, so we're going to come back to this. But when I have the same amount on opposite sides of the line, so 4 minus 4, that equals 0. And so what I'm left with is 3. So I had 4 that got minus 4 and they were gone, and then 3 is what's left over. That's how this works in one of these. 7x minus 4x equals 3x. It works the same way. There is my 4x on the top minus the 4x on the bottom, and what I'm left with are those 3 right there. So these are 0 pairs, right? Like same amount. Same amount on opposite sides equals zeros. Right? It makes a 0 pair, so it's like it's not there. Okay. And then the other type of zero pair, we're going to talk about this again. So 2 plus -4, right? 2 plus -4. I know that the same amount, equal amount, opposite amounts. On same side equals 0 pairs. So this amount is still the same too, right? If I was to do 2 plus -4, it would be balloon plus balloon, and then it would be stick plus stick plus stick plus stick. Those cancel out, and I'm left with -2. It's the same. That's how this process works. And then we have 7 plus -3 equals 4, and 7 plus -3 equals 4. I'm going to let you guys figure that out in a little bit. Micah's reminding me to tell you guys that you have to save the document. You need to download it again to save it? Wow, I didn't know that. I thought you could just save it. Does anybody have any questions about this part at all? So like that's 213. All you really need to know for 213 is that like you can make negatives by putting things on the top, or by putting positives on the top or on the bottom. Let's talk about making zeros. So making zero pairs. Zero pairs are what happen when you add two opposite amounts, right? This is what we just talked about. So opposite amounts on the same side are like this is a zero pair, here's another zero pair, there's another zero pair, and there's another zero pair. So the two ways are, here's way one, same amount on opposite sides, opposite amount on the same sides. This is way two. I guess you could either way, you could do it either way. You could say this is way one, and this is way two. These are both examples, two different examples of opposite amounts on the same side, different examples of same amounts on the opposite side. But all of these are going to equal 0. And here's my mathematical proofs right here. So what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to go through this one and practice removing zero pairs. Looks like I messed this one up a little bit when I was moving it around. That's okay. So go through all of these and just like check off the zero pairs. Like go through and circle zero pairs and cross them off. Take a moment for that. Please let me know if you have any questions. What if there was an opposite pair of the top but the same on the other? Then there's only one zero pair. Zero pairs don't have to get rid of everything. So there's an opposite pair. Wait, an opposite pair at the top but the same on the other. So that's a good question. So Damien, what does that look like? Does that look like this? I'm going to draw right on this. Do you mean like, so you guys, Damien asked a really good question. Damien asked, what if there is an opposite pair of the top but the same on the bottom? Do you mean if these are opposite like this, but then down here these are the same? Is that what you mean, like that?
I think he means like there's a negative on the top and then there's a positive on the bottom.
Do you mean that there are like that, where you have a pair of something on one side and then the opposite on the other side? Is that what you mean? That's also not what you mean. All right, I'm going to go look at, while everybody's doing this, I'm going to go look at number 5 on 214, because I don't remember what it looks like. Lily, you have a question?
No, sorry about that.
No, no worries. Okay, so you want to know about 214. How you doing over there, Winnie? All right, so number 5. Okay, so when you're referring to number 5 on 214, are you talking about the x's? Or are you talking about, yeah, I know class is about to end. Damien, are you talking about the x's? The units. Okay, so you have what I see there on 215. So I'm just going to answer this one for the class. What this looks like. If you're talking about the units, you're talking about 1, 2, and then 1 filled in, and then these ones here, like that. So I see 2 types of 0 pairs here. This is a 0 pair. That's the same amount on the opposite side. But then this is also a 0 pair. That's the, sorry, we have opposite amount on the same side and then same amount on opposite side. Once you're done, the other way that you could do this would be, the other way that you could write it would be, what if you looked at it like this, cancel, cancel, and then you're just left with this amount, right? This one comes over here. Actually, I'll just circle it and say you're left with that and that. Then you have to do keep, change, change. Anyway, does that make sense, Damien? Your answer should be the same way. Both of those tiles are going to be the same way. No, it doesn't make sense. Does it make sense when we look at it this way and go 0 pair, 0 pair, this is minus -2. Does that make sense? Kind of makes sense. What part doesn't make sense? If you do not have a question, you guys are dismissed. Okay, well, hopefully it will make more sense tomorrow after we're all done with our notes, Damien. That's my hope. Anyways, you guys are all dismissed. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to make up those old lessons that you haven't finished yet from chapter 2. All right, you guys, take care.